All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So tonight we're doing a recruiting race this evening, and then also on Thursday of this week with to just kind of shake off the cobwebs after having a week or so off here. So this is going to be the Area 51 Indy Series recruiting race tonight at Indianapolis. I also wanted to test out some of the new overlays that I was able to come across. Really cool of ATVO to actually create their own and put it out there for use. And I'm really enjoying the way it looks. So hopefully you do as well. So we got a recruiting race tonight at Indy. And saying there's actually a little bit of money on the line here as well tonight. So we're going to be 80 laps tonight. The race winner will be receiving $40. Second place $20, and third place will be $10. So kind of a cool little thing they're doing here tonight. And as well, they're going to be doing similar on Thursday, I believe, with the Cup cars. So they just got just under a minute left in practice before they're going to jump over to qualifying. As you can see, some of the drivers trying to kind of maybe get a few practice pit entries in there. Unfortunately, that one didn't go so well for those two that enter the pits there. But it's going to be one of those things you definitely want to get familiar with. Say here at Indy with the 80 lap race, you'll definitely have a potential for some green flag pit stops. As well as if you are still interested in trying to race in this series, just go to area51iracing.com. Try to get registered up again. You got Tuesdays is the Indy Series, Wednesday is the 87 cars, Thursday is the Cup Series. They're going to be also doing a Friday Series now as well. That one will not be televised. However, of course, just join in and have fun with that one. And of course, Sunday evenings is the Super Speedway Cup Series. And then as well, the Tuesdays and the Sunday races, those will be, if you want to, you can do a $25 buy-in and you can actually win some money per race and also for the overall series champion. Alright, so qualifying is just about to kick off here. So we're going to let their drivers make their laps and get their grid positions here. Looks like we have just around 30 drivers this evening. So I try to make sure I've got everything pulled up. So another fun thing that they have now up on the Area 51 Area 51 website of area51iracing.com is Area 51 store. So if you're looking for a t-shirt or a hat or even to be with the times right now, a cloth mask, face mask that you can wear, you can pick those up from the store as well. Saying they also have been able to get a discount or a deal with Butt Kicker for a 20% discount with the code A51RL. So say if you want to maybe if you're in the market for one of those, definitely always helps your pocketbook if you want to try to save a little bit of cash there and get that taken care of as well. So definitely some things to check out. Of course, I always want to thank from last season Regal Cinemas. They sponsored the Pole Award for the Thursday series last season, so that was a really cool thing for them to do there. So I really appreciate them being a part of that. And so I just realized I mistakenly joined the race as a racer, not as a spectator. So apologies for taking up a grid slot here for the admins that go over these things, I'm sure, after the race. So I just noticed, wait, why is my name on the ticker? So don't mind that 71 car. That is me. Didn't mean to do that. And I will not be in the race this evening. So however, that being said, though, they are putting down their qualifying laps right now. You can see those little fastest laps popping up. It's one of those features that that this ATVO is offering with this new thing. So it's just kind of showing you, it pops up who's right now the fastest cars on track. You also see on that ticker as well the best lap, so that's kind of right now the qualifying grid as things run. I hope everybody had a a restful and relaxful as best as possible, of course, with everything going on. But 4th of July weekend, say kind of, I'm sure people starting to get back into the swing of things as well this week. But yeah, hopefully you all had a little bit of a rest, relaxation, able to enjoy yourselves a little bit. If you're able to do fireworks, if your areas were doing those. Unfortunately, ours got canceled just because of we had no rain for months, so it was too much of a fire risk. So a bit of a bummer on that one, but say we still enjoyed ourselves over the weekend, so that was nice to have here. I just got over a minute left, or just about a minute left, I should say, right now. As you can see, it looks like Charles Johnson holding the pole position at the moment by just under a hundredth of a second over Craig Forsyth. So you see how close these lap times are here at Indianapolis. And also looks like a few new car numbers, a few new names on here. So that's always going to be fun to try to get some opportunities to get some interviews with those drivers as well as the season progresses here. And say another benefit for these kind of races that they're doing here is just to kind of let those new drivers get familiar with the league, with the other drivers they're going to be racing around. It definitely goes a long ways to try to improve things over the course of a season. So that's one thing that all leagues kind of run into, is just those couple of growing pains at the beginning of the year, with some drivers maybe not being kind of familiar with how some of the other drivers race, things of that nature. So it'll be pretty fun to see how this all stacks up this season here. And so what we can do here is, so we're gonna pull up our grid here, so you can see our front 4 rows here. So you say on the pole position you have that number 28 of Charles Johnson. Starting next to him is the 131 of Craig Forsyth. Jack Walls in 3rd, Bud Steele 4th. Christopher, I'm gonna have to be learning some of these names. I'm gonna guess Christopher Kresge, maybe we'll get a chance to interview him, find out. I was going to comment on this earlier, but of course it perfectly times out. They qualified 6th and 7th. You have Dustin Leclerc and David Leclerc. Different spellings on the last name, but just what are the odds of that one? And then you got Les Levy in the 8th position. And then rounding out 9th through 16th here, you have Jim Mall, Gary Corley, David Camara, Eric Laurie, Nathan Aldrich, Michael Spill, Thomas Bidding, Jared Kaczynski. Then 17th through 24th here, you have Ryan Carley, Harrison Womack, Benjamin Combs, Liam James, Robert Richards, Garrett Pick, Joe Marks, James Ledford. Saying 25th is me, however I am not racing. Timothy Wright, Kip Meeks, Dwight Plush, William Brown, James Brooks, Roy Wheeler, and Carlos Quiroz in 33rd. So that is our starting grid for this evening. However, again, our pole sitter here. Pole sitter is that number 28 of Charles Johnson. He's going to get moving here right as we get rolling here. So you got that one pace lap here. Going to see, I have a feeling some of the drivers that are in the server did not actually take the grid here this evening. I see a couple drivers whose names haven't popped up, showing that they're on track here. So I think we're going to have a few other drivers that aren't in here at the moment. Yeah, so you'll see I'm going to be probably playing around with a few things just to kind of try to learn as I go. It'll be kind of fun to see how all this kind of pans out here. But yeah, so we have 80 laps tonight at Indianapolis with the Indy Series. Let's say, and also at Green White Checkered, or here on Green White Checker TV with Area 51 Racing League, they have 2 fast repairs and up to 3 Green White Checkers should those come into play. We'll have to kind of wait and see if that does come into play or not this evening. I say it again, it's going to be a great way for some of these new drivers to get familiar with some of the existing drivers and vice versa. So that way they can really get into things nice and smoothly for the beginning of Season 5 here starting next week. Alright, pace car is in. It's going to put it into the hands of our front row here. Say that 28 of Charles Johnson and the 131 of Craig Forsyth. The green flag is in the air, and we are underway here at Indianapolis. So far, it looks like Charles is going to hang on to that lead in this initial lap here. So you can see all the drivers kind of fanning out a little bit, trying to find that safest place to be, trying to figure out where they need to position their cars again. It's definitely one of those things here at Indy where it's like there's a lot that can happen in a really short amount of time, and especially as big as the draft is on these cars. So you'll see here coming off of Ford, Jack Wall's probably going to get a huge run of that 28 car. We'll see if he's going to stay in line. Looks like he is going to jump to the top of that 28 car. We'll see if Jack's going to be able to push this momentum around to the top side. However, that 28 car is going to have the preferred line here in the turns with that shorter distance around. So right now, that looks like Charles Johnson is going to hang on to the lead. All right, so we're going to try out this interval ticker here, see how it works out. Say right now, again, this is kind of showing the distance from the cars to each other. So that'll kind of show like how far apart the cars are with each other. So obviously right now you're going to see a lot of really close gaps here just because everybody's here right on nose to tail. So we'll actually switch it over to the gap. So this is going to be the gap to the leader. As you can see, the fastest laps popping up that last time by Michael Spell, fastest lap with a 40.5. So now you can see on the ticker here, we're showing the gap to the leader here. Currently, again, Charles Johnson in the lead. So right now, of course, you see most of the field is within just about 3 to 4 seconds of our race leader, Charles Johnson, in that number 28 car. As I say that, though, it looks like caution is out. Looks like a handful of cars involved. I see the 23 is in there. Oh, he's upside down there. I saw the 32 as well. Looks like he's trying to see if he can get unstuck off that wall. That's Ryan Carley in that 32. Looks like he's not having any luck, unfortunately, though. So let's go ahead and go back and try to take a look and see what happened here. So running our first hiccup here, it looks like. Again, trying to learn this as I go a little bit. That replay thing, it pops up. I was kind of curious how that was going to work. However, it has not disappeared on me, so let me see what we can do here. Alright, well, we've run into our first hiccup here, so that was one of the things, that's why I wanted to learn and see how things would work here with this. So let me go ahead and we're going to close this and So actually, while we're doing that, let's go back and see what happened here on this previous incident. Oh, I think there may have been a second incident here. So or no, I think it's the same one. Oh, I see. There's a couple cars with the same paint scheme. That's going to throw us off here for sure. So let's go ahead and go back a little further, see where I started. Looks like it may have started with this 23 car of Christopher Kresge. So I'm trying to find a better angle here. Oh yeah, he gets hit in the back from that 32 car. And you see the 7 involved as well. So I'm not sure we missed where that all started here. It looks like he just kind of got out of the groove there. I'm not sure if that other car in front of him played a role in it or not. However, with everything that was going on here, I'm going to try to get us back up and going here. You want to make sure we don't miss anything up front. Did have pit stops here just that last time around. Looks like about the top 6 stayed out. Looks like lights are off on the pace car, so say to get this guy back up and running so we can at least try to keep an eye on this as well. Obviously there's something going on with that that replay part of things, so I'm going to have to try to learn that as I go. That's part of, again, why I wanted to test this, so apologies for that. So let's say we're going to get things going here one more time. Alright, so pace car is coming through turns 3 and 4 right now. So it's going to put it back into the hands here of Jack Wallace, of the first of the 6 to stay out. First one that pitted as out is Bud Steele in that 6 car. Looks like he did fuel only, whereas it looks like the rest behind did 4 tires and fuel. However, again, this is going to put it into the hands of the race leader now. That 83 of Jack Wallace. Green flag is in the air. And he's got right behind him that number 50 of David Leclerc. He's going to take a look to the outside as they get going here into turn 1 and 2. So the only problem with David doing that is that's going to open the door. You see that 3 car, that's Dustin Leclerc on the inside. So he's going to have a huge draft behind that 83 car. So it's going to possibly put him into that lead position, or sorry, into the first car behind our race leader here. That 50 car is trying to hold strong though on that top side as they run at the moment. Oh, as I see trouble on the front stretch through the infield there, or through the pits, I should say there. I believe that wasn't that the 7 was involved. Oh, you also see, I think that was the 88 and the 29. It looks like as well. So a bunch of cars involved in this one. All right, we're gonna kind of see what happens here real quick if this acts up again. So let's go ahead and take a look, see what happened here. Alright, this time it seemed like it worked. So they say coming through the front stretch here, you see that 80 Michael Spell drops to the inside here. And there's a car right in front of him that looks like he follows suit, actually right behind him. So you're trying to catch what car number that is here. That's the wrong button. It's like the 29. It's Nathan Aldrich there. Looks like he just had a huge head of steam on the 88. And so you can see as they come through here, and it looks like it just makes contact with the back of that 88 car. And saying that's gonna, you see it just sends them up in the air here. So I believe both of them wound up actually in the pit lane from that contact. As you can see here, yeah, sure enough, they both clear the wall there, the pit entry wall. So big hits for both of those two drivers here. And unfortunately, you can see that the 29 just goes all the way through the track as well. So yeah, definitely a huge incident for those two drivers. Looks like 88 able to get back on his wheels, so that's going to be a huge benefit for him to try to stay on the lead lap and try to get the damage repaired if he can limp that car back around. Looks like he's definitely trying to. So that's going to put us back here under yellow, however. So again, we'll step away for just a quick moment here. We'll see if we have any pit stop takers with those that stayed out that last time around. Looks like they're kind of thinking about it. We'll wait and see what the decision is. And nope, he's going to stay out there. So looks like our lead group's going to stay pretty much the same here. So yeah, we'll step away for just a quick moment and we'll get things going again on that one to go. Alright, so lights are off on that pace car. So we're going to get things going again one more time here. So we're on lap 11 of 80. So right now we're going to restart here. Say we got 70 to go right now. Again, of our scheduled 80 laps, could of course have those 3 green-white checkers. Fortunately, looks like we have had 3 retirements. That 29 of Nathan Aldrich, the 33 of Liam James, and the 31 of Thomas Bidding. So wait for that green flag to fly. It's back in the air. It's going to put it into the hands again of Jack Walls here. David Leclerc behind him. Justin Leclerc in third. And saying, looks like this time we'll see if David's going to kind of hang out and try to stay on that bottom, or if he's going to try to jump to that middle top side again like he did on that previous restart. And it looks like, sure enough, he's going to try to make this top side work. I feel like he's just going to kind of open himself under, kind of for a counterattack, if you will, from that 3 car, though, as they go through the backstretch, though. I say right now David's got a good run on the top side, but again, that shorter line is going to be the easiest way for these guys to go, especially with the tires being pretty much still brand new with a lot of these front runners here. So right now you can see a lot of movement there. So you see David try to steal a little bit of a draft jump right back to the top here as they go through the front stretch. So it looks like David's going to lead that lap. However, again, he's not going to be able to clear that 83 though, Jack Walls, at this point. I think I saw some trouble behind. Yeah, I see the 222 was involved. Oh, big hit from behind as well after he had come to a stop. So you can see the 44 Dwight Plush just sneaking on by there. Trying to see those other cars involved in this one. I say Jared Kaczynski, though, taking that massive hit there. Looks like the 23 was involved in this one, as well as possibly the 071. So let's go ahead and see if we can take a look on this one. So right here with that 222 of Jared Kaczynski as he goes through turn 1, I should say. Actually looks like a fair bit of net code there between him and the 32. It was, I say, unfortunately, just yeah, from what I saw there, just a pretty decent sized gap between the two of them there. But unfortunately, say that net code just kind of did him in there. See, oops, wrong car there. And so you can see Jared was able to get to a stop, but then unfortunately, it was Jack Walls there, and then also the 23 car that got into that one as well. Heavy contact for them on that incident there, unfortunately. So, say again, we mentioned kind of with the growing pains and things like that. And this is kind of what we were talking about. Is there's a lot of new drivers that haven't raced around each other a lot, so it's going to be a big learning curve. And these Indy cars are not very forgiving. You really have to, so you have to be super precise with them. And so say that will definitely kind of cause some troubles here and there again when you have some new people running together. So I think we're gonna see a little bit of some gamesmanship again here under this pit stop cycle. We'll take a look and see, and sure enough, they're both gonna hop out there. So you're gonna see a couple coming. Looks like Bud Steele's gonna be the first of the takers here to make a pit stop, though. So again, once again, while drivers make their pit stop here, we'll step away for just a moment, and we'll get things going again on the 1 to go. Alright, lights are back off of the pace car. So far, that top 4 drivers, Jack Wallace, David Leclerc, Dustin Leclerc, Jim Mall, none of them have pitted yet so far this race. Les Levy in 5th place in that number 62 car. He pitted under that first yellow, has yet to pit again since. And then from 6th to 12th, it looks like those drivers all pitted under the previous yellow, and then from Bud Steele in 13th on back, those drivers all pitted under this most recent caution. Saying this yellow has given some drivers their lap back. Right now we have 3 drivers still 1 or more laps down. Harrison Womack in the 12 car, the 222 who's just in that incident right there, Jared Kaczynski, and then Ryan Carley in the 32 at the moment, unfortunately, is 2 laps down. And we mentioned as well, there's 3 drivers that have retired from the race. Nathan Aldrich, Liam Janes, and Thomas Bidding are all out of the race, unfortunately. However, back up front again is still going to be that 83 of Jack Walls. Started 3rd, is currently in the 1st position. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on him here. What we'll do on this restart is actually we're going to hop on board with our 2nd place car of David Leclerc. We're going to see what David's able to do on this restart here, as we've seen him try to get that top side to work. I'll see if he's able to make anything happen here on this one. Green flag is back out, and you can already see he's right. Oh, you can see a little bit of a hiccup there in the shift, possibly by that 83 of Jack Walls there. You can see David had to react a little bit to it there. Cost him a little bit of momentum. However, you see, again, you see he's going to try to steal a little bit of draft and then get to that top side here. And it kind of seems to be kind of the similar plan that he's been doing so far in this race. We'll just see if this is if he's going to be able to do enough to try to get him through turns 1 and 2, but again, or 3 and 4, I should say. However, again, that low side is definitely going to be the faster way around through the turns. It's just whether or not David can get a good push here, good draft here, and then make that jump again to that top side. So I mean, if this was coming to the checker, this would be a perfect plan for David. He'd be able to take that lead at the line, but unfortunately, obviously not there yet. And he's not able to make that pass complete here yet at this point in the race. But we'll have to see his tires wear on, if that inside line running that bottom like they are, if that scrubs the tires that little bit more. Right now those top 3 have a teeny bit of a gap. Oh, as you see one but get loose there. Oh, one involved as well, so definitely a big impact for him. I think that was the 30 that was going up. Actually, no, I think it started with the 30 as you saw that one car flipping through the screen there. That may have been the 32. Nope, it was not the 32. Let's just try to see where this all kind of started here and then see who was involved in that one. Actually, it may have been the 23. Well, 23 was involved. That's also a different driver, though. Yeah, let's go back and try to see what happened there on this one, but man, that one driver went flipping wildly. Yeah, you see that 30 car, Jim All just gets too low, unfortunately. Tries to see if he can keep it down. Oh, it's a 7 car here that makes contact with him. And unfortunately, that 7's going to go for a wild ride here. This is David Camara. And I'll say that he was the one that we actually saw flipping past the camera screen when we were trying to keep an eye on things that were going on there. So unfortunately for him, definitely a wild race. See Jim Brooks are just sneaking through there. So you see another driver here also. Oh, you see even, wow, there's a lot of cars involved in this one. A little further back here, you also have that 222. Jared Kaczynski, I see the 10 involved as well. Robert Richards. So actually, a lot of drivers involved in this one. So that poor 7 car is still flipping. Well, not sure if he's able to actually ever get back onto his wheels. That actually was able to line on the wheels, and the motor kept running. So that's actually a huge benefit for him. Obviously, he's waiting for the field to kind of clear out before he gets going there. Good heads up by him. Doing everything he can, of course, to try to drive it back to the pits here. See how big of a handful it is there. So he's got pretty much full lock here to try to keep that thing straight. So But again, this is going to keep him on the lead lap, so it's going to be critical for that. And again, looks like still a bit of a mixed strategy. Looks like now we only have 2 drivers that have yet to make a pit stop. Jack Walls, Dustin Leclerc. Looks like those other drivers decided to jump in here this time around. David Leclerc is one who was finally decided to make that pit stop. And so David able to get to his pits here. Well, trying to, as I got to get into his stall now. It's going to be the next tricky spot for him, but looks like he's able to get that taken care of. So again, we'll run back under yellow here for just a moment. So unfortunately with that incident though with Jim Mall, looks like he has retired from the race in that number 30. Just looks like just went too low, and just as stiff as these cars are, just it's really tough for them to kind of hang on to him. So unfortunate again, and again, I mean, this is Indies are really it seems straightforward, but it's tricky to be so precise at. So it's just one of those ones where it kind of catches you by surprise sometimes, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I'll say up front though, Jack Wall still leading the way here. Dustin Leclerc now in second in that number 3 car. Neither of those drivers have yet to make a pit stop. So again, we'll step away for just a moment. We'll get things going here again once we get that one to go. Alright, lights are back off on that pace car. Looks like 44 Dwight Plush is going to be our last car on the lead lap for the moment. Let's say that's going to give us 18 cars on the lead lap, and we actually have 4 cars 1 lap down, so it's definitely going to be a fight to try to get that that free pass and get back on that lead lap. It's going to be between the 222 of Jared Kaczynski, the 10 of Robert Richards, the 12 of Harrison Womack, and the 32 of Ryan Carley. So we'll see who's able to, when another caution comes out, see who's able to take advantage of that one. But again, right now, though, our top 2 drivers have still yet to pit in this race. Third place, Les Levy pitted under that first yellow, so he's got about 4 laps more of fuel, I should say. And then from Charles Johnson to Jim Brooks in 7th, that's 4th through 7th, they pitted about 9 laps later than the leaders did. So they've got about 9 laps more fuel than leaders, 5 more laps than Les Levy. And then from there on back, say Bud Steele, Benjamin Combs, Christopher Kresge, they have 7 laps on their fuel, and then David Leclerc in 11th on back. They all just made a pit stop under this most recent caution. So we're going to hop on board with our race leader here, Jack Walls. And by on board, I mean the gearbox camera. So we're going to watch from the back here. Keep an eye on that number 3 of Dustin Leclerc, waiting for that green flag to fly. And so we're going to get things back going again. We're going to have 59 to go as they cross the line here. And so far, pretty smooth restart for Jack, able to kind of get a little bit of a gap over that 3 car, but again, you're going to see how big this draft is, and we'll see what that 3's plan is, if he's going to try to just stay on the bottom with him, or if he's going to try to use that momentum to the top side. So right now, it looks like he's going to hang out on the bottom, but Les Levy has other plans here in that 62 car. He's going to go for the top side, see if he can get a 2 for 1. And so you can already see he's side by side with that 83 as he entered turn 3. Not quite enough, of course, as he gets off of 4. However, though, he will have that momentum on that top side down the front straightaway here. We'll see what he's able to make happen in that number 62. And right behind him, he's got Charles Johnson in that 28 as well. Looks like he squeezes there the 3, and saying heavy contact between him, flies up and through the air. Bunch more cars involved there. Big contact with these guys here. So you can see they're still crashing in the background. I think that's Charles Johnson, unfortunately, on his lid there. So we'll go back here and see what happened under this most recent incident. Looks like we had a bit of a hiccup with our little there we go. So say it looks like it started with that 62 or yeah 62 Les Levy and the number 3 car. Say we'll see. I think he was just for a moment clear of that 3. But I think, unfortunately, once they got into the turn, that 3 was already there by the entry. And sure enough, you can see there that 3 was pretty much at the side pod of that 62 car, and just nothing that Dustin could do in that situation there. You can see a bunch of cars here wind up getting caught up in this one. So we mentioned already the 28 of Charles Johnson as well. Saying a little further back here, you're going to see a few more kind of unfortunately get kind of added out into here. You see there 88 of Jack Walls. Looks like he had some contact from behind him. I think that's Roy Wheeler, I believe. No, actually, that's the 32 car. That was Ryan Carley doing a pretty big barrel roll there. I saying you see Charles still flipping in that background. You see more cars involved in the back as well. So yeah, so definitely some serious attrition so far in this one. I also see. I think that's the. Which car is that there? I think that's the 10. Yeah, Robert Richards also involved in this one. So saying those are actually some of those drivers that were one lap down that we had just mentioned. So we'll see. I'm not sure if any of them are going to be able to get their laps back with this. Say a lot of drivers here getting some damage repaired, fast repairs. Some probably unfortunately had to take a tow. Jack finally decides, you know what, I'm going to make a pit stop here. And he's bringing a few others in here with him. Looks like that's going to bring the 70 now of Timothy Wright as our race leader. So I'll say, so once again, we'll do the same thing here. We'll step away for just a moment, and we'll get things going again on that one to go. Alright, we're back on the one to go. Yeah, say apologies for again the ATVO replay situation. Say looks like it's kind of a luck of the draw if it kind of makes things act up. Again, this is it's not a full release version. They're kind of letting us test it out here. But again, I really want to thank them for putting this out there. I think it looks great. So hopefully we can get some of those bugs worked out But right now, again, looks like now our race leader is that 70 of Timothy Wright, Roy Wheeler in second, Bud Steele is third. So finally, our race leader for that most of that chunk there, Jack Wallace, he decided to finally make a pit stop there. So he's going to come out in 8th position. Not too bad shape, honestly. In 16th is our last car still on the lead lap, which is, again, Dwight Plesh. We've got Jared Kaczynski, Robert Richards, Charles Johnson showing 1 lap down. Les Levy is 2 down at the moment. Looks like we had a few more retirements, unfortunately, from that last yellow. Harrison Womack and Ryan Carley. So it's going to leave us 20 cars on track, 16 on the lead lap. It's going to put it now back into the hands of that number 70 of Timothy Wright. So we're going to just wait for that green flag to fly. And so these drivers are going to get back at it here, again with 54 to go at the line. So far as the driver's staying pretty single file here. So you can see that huge draft though starting to come into play. Bud Steele thinking about making it 3 wide, decides to back out of it there in that 6 car. Lost a bit of momentum there. So that's going to open the door there for that 131 of Craig Forsyth. He's going to jump now into that 3rd position. Really good restart from him actually. He started going from 6th to 3rd here. Already now working on 2nd from that 98 of Roy Wheeler. So we'll see if he's able to complete that pass. He's on the inside. Looks like he might be able to complete it. And actually, it looks like the 70 of Timothy Wright gets a little bit too high there in 1 and 2. So he's going to open the door here as well. So this time around, looks like Craig Forsyth in that 131 is going to be our race leader at the moment. Really good start by him here on that restart here. You see Bud Steele dropping back to the inside one more time, trying to see how many spots he can get entering turn 3. Looks like he's able to get underneath the 50 here of of David Leclerc's Bud Steele there underneath him. That moves Bud up into the 3rd position. Bud's not content though. He's going to jump to the top side here. Now he's going to go to the outside of that 70 of Timothy Wright. That next time around though, that 130 of Craig Forsyth leads that lap. Bud now up into the 2nd position here. And he's already all over the back now of that 131 of Craig Forsyth. You saw the last time around the fastest lap of the race just set here by Les Levy in that 62 car. Again, unfortunately, right now Les is 2 laps down, but as he's definitely still got some pace, just needs a little bit of luck to try to get back up into the mix here. Oh, you see that 7 trying to get to the inside of Jack Walzer. He's got to be careful with that pit entry wall. Very dangerous potential there for anything happening there. However, you can see here comes David Leclerc up to 3rd, looking to the inside now of Bud Steele, trying to get that 2nd position. So we'll see if he's able to use that draft of Craig Forsyth. Again, I'm sure you're going to see Craig protect the bottom here. So now it's going to be where's that 50 going to be able to go, or if he's just going to have to kind of right now ride behind that 131, which it looks like that is going to be what he has to do at the moment. And say Jack Wall's also in a similar situation here in that number 83 car. Again, right now of those leaders up front, Jack and David Camara actually have the freshest tires in that 50 and the 7 car. Sorry, the 83 and the 7 car have the freshest tires and the most amount of fuel in those cars. So they're probably feeling pretty good about where they stand right here as things run. Again, we're just got 50 to go of our scheduled 80 laps. Say again though, right now that 131 of Craig Forsyth trying to fight off the 6 of Bud Steele. Has got the 83 of Jack Walls right with him right now. That you can see those top 5 top 6 actually are all just really jumbled together here. Not much room for them to go anywhere at the moment. I think they're going to have to hope for probably some tire wear to help their cause to try and be able to start making some passes. And of course, if they can get far enough into a run, if they can get some green flag pit stops as well, that's going to be a definite game changer to try to hopefully for them. Some of these drivers, of course, are going to be hoping to try to split that field up a little bit. So it looks like that 76 of Jim Brooks has kind of joined the pack as well. So it's going to give us 7 cars here. He's on the outside of that number 7 of David Camara. Just trying to work on him here. It looks like he's got, or didn't get the spot. It falls in behind him actually. But again, right now, Bud Steele, Craig Forsyth still running side by side here. And you can see, it looks like that top side definitely has the push that you need on the backstretch to be able to get to that start-finish line. You can see just there, right there at the line, I don't know who had the lead there. It was thousandths of a second between the two. So that could be a potential race finish, so that you can see here at Indy just what the draft that these cars provide. So you can see also that 50 of David Leclerc. I'm sure he's trying to figure out what he needs to do. Oh, he's seeing trouble in the backstretch there. Caution is out. 23 wasn't involved here. That's Christopher Kresge. I also saw a few others in there. It's at the 77. Benjamin Combs, unfortunately, there's nothing he can do on this one right now. He is definitely stuck in that outside wall. I also saw the 14. I don't think James Ledford was involved. 44 of Dwight Plush as well. I think he may have got through it as well here. Definitely, though, that the 23 car was involved in this one. So let's go ahead and see if we can take a look and see what happened here. You're going to see that 23 a little bit loose there. So it looks like he had a little bit of contact from behind. Can't tell what car that is. That was right behind him there. It looks like he may have had to check up. Yeah, you can see he's actually slowed down pretty dramatically here for what was going on in front of him. And so I think, unfortunately, just kind of almost a little bit of net code as well, unfortunately, with that incident here. You see that contact next to him as well. Actually, and even further up as well, the 3 car. So there's actually a couple incidents in one, really. So something happened up front. These guys all checked up a bunch here. So I'm not even sure where this all really began. Let me see that 3 cars. Looks like 77 as well makes contact. That sends them to the inside. And so you see the 23 a little bit further back there as well. So kind of a multi-car situation incident on this one. And unfortunately, a bunch of drivers involved in it here too. You see that 3 takes a big shot there. Unfortunately, not able to flip back over. Definitely will wind up requiring a tow for him. So we'll jump back to the current session here. So it looks like beneficiary of that, though, is going to be the 28 of Charles Johnson. That's going to get him back onto the lead lap. Trying to see, looks like we have 2 drivers. Trying to see who may have had to take a tow there as well. But cycle through here. Looks like a few drivers decided to stay out under this yellow. It's looking like David Leclerc, Jack Walls, and Gary Corley in the 11. Those 3 stayed out. I believe the rest of the field went ahead and pitted their 4 tires. So we'll go ahead. I'm trying to keep an eye on those drivers that are also still lapped down. Looks like Robert Richards, Jared Kaczynski, they're still in good shape here, just 1 lap down. I don't believe they were involved in the incident that I'm aware of, at least. However, it looks like Dustin Leclerc and Benjamin Combs are still sitting in the pits. I believe having to take a tow there, unfortunately, for their races this evening. On the one to go, and actually it looks like the 3 and the 77 were able to get back on track before they were put 2 laps down. So that's going to be huge for them. That's going to keep them just 1 down. We're going to have 15 cars at the moment on the lead lap. We'll have 4 1 lap down, which will be the 222 Jared Kaczynski, Robert Richards, Dustin Leclerc, and Benjamin Combs. Those 4 drivers will be 1 lap down. So that'll be the battle to try to get their lap back here. So right now we are at 45 to go, and then restart here with 44 to go. Again, right now top 3 stayed out there. You have David Leclerc, Jack Walls, and Gary Corley. And then from Craig Forsyth on back, all of those drivers pitted here. Looks like everybody took 4 tires and fuel from what I can see. And so yeah, so say we're going to kind of stack them back up here again. We'll let these guys loose with 44 to go, again in the scheduled 80 lap race. And again, this is the Indy Series recruiting race. Season will start for Season 5 next week. However, of course, there is going to be some cash prize for the 3 drivers involved here. $40 for the race winner, 20 for second, and $10 for our third place finishers. So definitely some incentive for them. I believe they're going to do something similar for the Thursday race as well, which I will as well be covering here on Green White Checker TV, just to make sure, again, get everything kind of ready to roll here. Hopefully everything's working correctly and smoothly. So right now, waiting for that green flag to fly. It's going to put it into the hands of David Leclerc, and we'll see what he's able to do here with that clean air. Wait for that green flag, and they are underway. See Jack Walls all over the back bumper of him, or rear wing, I guess you could say, of him. Gary Corley left a little bit of a gap here, but again, as big as the draft is with these cars, he's going to be able to pull right back up to these 2 drivers here through probably by the end of turn 2, if not for sure down the backstretch. You see Jack kind of takes the high line here right off the bat, going to try to see if he can do something with that top side. I'll say, but again, you're going to see that draft and hear those drivers come. Here comes Craig Forsyth to the inside. Going to see if he can get up into that 3rd position already. Say Craig started 4th, moving his way up to 3rd here, and we'll see if he's able to get a little bit more as they run. You see definitely some protecting going on, trying to keep that bottom side. That's definitely the place you need to be today. That seems to be definitely the fast way around, especially on these brand new tires. It's tough to pass on that top side, so protecting that bottom side is going to be critical as the race leader. But we've seen, though, that the 2nd place car can draft up to the leader to actually get him at the start-finish line. So that could come into play, of course, for the finish of this race. We'll hop on board with our 83 of Jack Walls, trying to see if he can make that run for the lead again. Jumps to the outside of David Leclerc again. He's going to lose some momentum through the turns. Looks like Bud Steele there on the inside, but it looks like now, I'll say some of the drivers here a little further back, getting some of that draft. To say that last time around, Jim Brooks, their fastest lap of the race, 39.361. But as I said, right again up front though, again you see Jack Walls there in that 83 car, trying to see what he can do here. It's got really good momentum on the exit. It's just, again, it's really tough to make it happen here, especially with these fresh tires. Especially then when you got that 6 of Bud Steele right to the back bumper again, or rear spoiler, I should say, of our race leader David Leclerc. As I say that though, see that 6-7 car of David Camara, gets a little bit too high there. I say may have been a little bit of tire-to-tire contact between the 2 of them. He's able to keep things going though. Could have definitely been big there, but able to keep things straight and try to regroup and get back after it here. But as I say that, we got 3 wide again. See the 50, the 83, and the 6 Bud Steele. So they're trying to see what they can do here. Trying to figure out where that momentum is going to be, and see Craig Forsyth right behind him in that 131. He's got to figure out somewhere to go, but right now I say he's going to probably be pretty committed to just having to follow one of these 3 drivers as they go 3 wide at the line. Again, I say this is kind of going to be a potential example of what you could see as the finish of this race. Just again with how big this draft is. So you'll see again as they go through now the backstretch, you can see the trying to stack up here 3 by 3. Bud's just a little bit behind him, but yeah, I mean this is definitely kind of where you're going to see some of this action here. So right now I think that 131 Craig Forsyth, he's just kind of watching the show right now. So we'll hop on board with him in that 131. Again, he's going to grab that draft of our race leaders here. You're going to see, I'm sure you're going to see that 83 Jack Wells probably jump to the middle. But as I say that, out of nowhere, here comes the 28 of Charles Johnson, now up into the 4th position. Also, here comes the 10. Yep, that was the 10 there, I believe. That's Robert Richards. Right now, Robert is showing 1 lap down. However, he's the first car 1 lap down. And so that's kind of why he's having to be aggressive as well, as he wants to try to make sure he's that first car 1 down. As I say, that close driving there between the 83 and the 6 car. Looks like they may have made contact there. But again, looks like they're able to keep things going. But you can see again, I mean, again, we're not even halfway through. Actually, yeah, we just passed the halfway mark of this race. But man, these drivers are getting extremely aggressive. As I say, that close call between David Leclerc and Jack Wells there in turn 1. Jack able to fall back in line here in that 2nd position. But yeah, right, things are definitely getting dicey here at the moment. You see right behind them as well there, Charles Johnson in that 4th spot. However, you got David Kamara in the 7 trying to get to the inside. Just right now, it's just hard to say where the advantage is. It seems like just everybody's just trying to find where there's some clean air and just try to take advantage of the runs that they're getting here. So pretty dicey right now. I'll say I'm not going to say there's a safe spot on the track here at the moment, because maybe they won't. There's probably one safe spot right now. That's about where James Ledford is, about a second off of the last car in the lead lap here. Just kind of, I think he's probably in a pretty safe spot. Otherwise, no, not so much as say that Jack Wells contact. I think he actually saved that somehow. I do not know how. So I'm going to try to do a quick jump back to take a look at that one, because I don't know how he survived that. So let's see if we can pull us up here, and hopefully it doesn't mess anything up, and I think it did. That's unfortunate. So let's one more time here. So he comes off of turn 2. I think there was contact with the 83 and the 7 car. We'll wait and see. Oh, just a little bit. I do not know how Jack saved, but that was amazing. However, say he's able to regroup. He's still in the thick of things here. You can see these guys are all over the place. He's Craig Forsyth there, just about in the grass. Able to get back up on track, though, before all that came into play. And while we're watching that, Charles Johnson has actually worked his way into the lead. Jim Brooks now up into the 3rd spot. And still got Bud Steele right now in 2nd. You got the 10 there. So again, apologies. We definitely missed something there with David Leclerc. Let's say he's actually fallen a ways back here. It's like he actually had to take a fast repair. So while I was trying to show all that, I missed something a little earlier here. So we'll do the same thing for Dave. Let's try to see what happened to David here. Or was this a scheduled pit stop, actually? It looks like this oh, okay. I think we had a scheduled pit stop there for David Leclerc. So that's actually what happened there, I believe. So maybe working that backwards pit strategy here in that number 50 car. Get him some clean air here and just kind of stay after here. Stayed on the lead lap as well, so that's going to be critical for him here as well. So as I said, it looks like the 11 and the 222 are in the pits as well. So yeah, so I think we might be seeing some scheduled pit stops here for some of these drivers. Maybe a little bit of a mixed strategy at this point. Okay, so right now up front, so trying to double check where some of these drivers are on track. So yes, right now you have our race leaders are the, let me load my action. So right now again, Bud Steele, Charles Johnson, Jim Brooks leading the way here. Right behind them is that 10 car Robert Richards. He's showing as 1 lap down at the moment. Then you got Craig Forsyth and Roy Wheeler are rounding out the top 5. So again, we saw that 50 of David Leclerc made a pit stop there. I believe that may have been a scheduled pit stop for him. I think he was one of the ones that stayed out under those yellows. So that may have been a scheduled pit stop for him in that number 50 car. I say he's still on the lead lap. He's got about, I don't know, I'd say about a 5 second or so gap over them. Say leaders are coming up on the number 3 car right now, of Dustin Leclerc. But right now, again, you can see this battle for the lead group of these drivers. And it's just, I mean, yeah, it's really just anybody's game right here. And I say it's kind of fun to see. Say right now the top 3 are some of the 3 of the main admins of the league here, with Charles Johnson, Bud Steele, and Jim Brooks. Looks like Jack Walls in the 83 car is in the pits as well. Looks like that's about 25 laps for him in that run. So I wonder if that might be the pit window is around 25 laps or so with these cars. So if that's the case, I think you're going to see, you're probably going to see some of these drivers here. Say they're running right now about 15, 16 laps on this fuel run. So they can go, in theory, about 10 more laps. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on for our race leaders here. If they go the full distance, or maybe they pit once they get to that 25 to go mark. So I think that might be what we're seeing here. However, you see Bud Steele takes advantage of that draft here of that 3 car. And that's going to put Bud Steele into the lead. Charles Johnson will drop back into second. Jim Brooks in third. As you can see, Jack Wall's just coming out of the pits right now. So unfortunately, it's going to put him a lap down, though. So he's going to have to work hard to try to get back up here. And then to say right behind them, you still have that 131 of Craig Forsyth, Roy Wheeler, Timothy Wright, Eric Laurie, Christopher Kresge, and then David Camaro. Those drivers are all still in this main lead pack right here, 1st through 9th. A little further back is the 88 of Michael Spell. And then, of course, those drivers that have started making their pit stops. James Ledford, he's a little bit further back as well. Hasn't made his pit stop yet. But say David Leclerc is one of those first ones that made that pit stop. However, I don't think he can make it from here to the end. And same goes, unfortunately, as well for that 83 of Jack Walls. However, again, I'm not 100% sure on the fuel mileage of these cars. Just basing off of what I'm seeing at the moment. So you see now you got Charles working on the top side here. See if he can make that momentum work on through the turns here. So again, you're going to see him grab the draft here, jump to the top side. I'm assuming, actually, as I said, it looks like he's just going to ride here behind that 6 car, maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. So that's now going to open the door for that number 76 of Jim Brooks to see what he can do. Right behind them, you have the 3 car, I believe that is. Yeah, it's Dustin Leclerc right now showing as 2 laps down. Just made one of those pit stops a little bit ago. So he's going to want to try to get one of those laps back the hard way just in case the yellow comes out. You definitely don't want to be trapped 2 laps down here. So we'll see what that 3 is able to do as these leaders, again, right now, top 3 here fighting for the lead. But again, right now we're going to come around to 27 laps to go of the scheduled 80 laps. I believe that's the 071 of Eric Laurie. He is in the pits. He pitted right now. He had about 19 laps on his fuel run here. So say again, might be a little bit of a short pit strategy for him. We'll have to wait and see for Eric. But I'm thinking at this point, it might be close to, this might be about that window that these drivers can make it here to the end. And so this is kind of one of those things we talked about with those pit stop cycles is this can definitely be how the field gets spread out here. If and when the pit stops happen, I saw one drop down a little bit further back. That's the 23 of Christopher Kresge. So he's in here. Say he was about 20 laps on that run. And right now we just came around with 26 to go. I know we saw Jack Walls go 25, so I feel like we can probably feel pretty confident that that can make it to the end. This might be some short pitting plans here to try to maybe not have to take as much fuel, and then also to be able to kind of get some clean air and be able to kind of make an aggressive pit stop on your own. And you see up front there. Oh, and here comes one of our first leaders taking the pit stop here. That's the 28, Charles Johnson. You see the 7 behind him as well, David Camaro. So that's going to put the number 6 of Bud Steele in the lead. You see they were able to get around Eric Laurie in the 071 here. So that's going to definitely, that's going to put him now down 1 lap. So he's going to be the first car a lap down. So he's going to want to try to see if he can get back around these leaders. Or, of course, hope for them to make some pit stops here. As you can see there, the 23 coming out of the pits right there. Saying that we'll put him, I'm trying to find that 23 on my ticker here. As I say, here come the leaders. Looks like they're all trying to send it in here pretty deep. Looks like everybody's able to get it down to speed. Pretty good job for having those 5 leaders here all together. So that's going to put things now into the hands of Timothy Wright in that number 70 car. I believe Timothy is going to be the last driver to make a pit stop here. You see right behind him that 83 of Jack Walls. So Jack right now is still showing 1 lap down. We'll see if Jack's going to say, I think you're going to see Jack try to get that lap back here as they enter turn 3. He's going to go ahead and get that done. So now we have to wait and see where everybody cycles through here on this pit stop cycle. Saying here, actually here he comes now, Timothy Wright. He's going to make his pit stop here. This will be with 24 to go, coming to 23. So I believe with everything cycling through at the moment, our race leader is going to be this number 50 of David Leclerc. You can see he's trying to keep up with that 44 of Dwight Plush, grab that draft off of him because he's going to try to keep this gap as big as he can to the leaders behind him, which it looks like. I'm going to let everything cycle through here, but I believe it looks like it's going to be Bud Steele and Jim Brooks are going to be the front 2 out of the pits right there. You see right there they are nose to tail. So that's going to be 2nd and 3rd here on track. But you can see those other cars right behind them. They've all caught up to him. And you see Craig Forsyth there. Roy Wheeler's in that group as well. I believe I see Charles Johnson is then in that group as well. So really good pit cycle for these guys. As you see here, they all come all packed together again. Oh, huge run by Charles Johnson there. Had to jump to the bottom, I think, not to run into the back of that 76 car. And saying also open up the door for Craig Forsyth here. Craig's going to move up a spot. He's going to try to jump to the inside of Bud Steele here. Oh, gets a little bit tight there. Able to keep off of each other and keep off the wall, but really close call between the 3 of these drivers here right now. However, these are 5 drivers here, all on the pretty much the same pit cycle. So saying the other driver we got to keep an eye on. I'm saying wanting to see where Timothy Wright cycled out through. It looks like he's actually fallen a little bit further back, unfortunately. So he's going to have to try to work to get back up to the leaders. So right now the race leader still is that 50 of David Leclerc. He's got about a 2.5 second lead over this pack behind me, still following that 44 of Dwight Plush. Again, I'm not sure on the fuel strategy if he can make it or not. He's done 15 laps on this tank so far. Is saying we still have 22 to go, 21 this time around. I'm trying to see who's had the longest stint on fuel, but it looks like right now, it looks like this last time around though, David was the first driver to pit under the cycle, so he's got the longest run of this run so far. So we're gonna have to definitely keep an eye on that. And say one of those things we can show on the ticker here is that we're going to come around to 20 to go this time around. You can see some of the different pit stops that these drivers have chosen strategy-wise. David have taken the minimalist strategy here. He's only had 2 stops so far in this race. So you can see some of these other drivers here have had significantly more stops. As you see James Ledford, Dwight Plush with 13 and 10 stops respectively. Michael Spell with 9. I say Jack Wall's also in that minimalist pit stop cycle there with only 2 stops as well, whereas a lot of the rest of the group have at least 4 to 5 pit stops of this leading group. So again, right now, still showing about a 3-second lead from that 50 of David Leclerc to that group behind him with Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, and all of them. So I believe, kind of looks like they might be trying to play this leapfrog game where one gets the draft, you pass the other, and then kind of vice versa, and try to see if you can make some faster lap times this way. So I try to keep an eye on the intervals if this is working or not, and if this is indeed the case of what they're doing. But right now, actually, doesn't look like that is the case. It looks like they're just running their normal stuff right here. They might feel pretty confident that there's just no way that David could make it to the end here. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see on that front. But right now, that lead is holding pretty steady at about 3 seconds or so. Again, right now, this top 5 group here, this is all 2nd through 6th again with Bud Steele, Jim Brooks, Craig Forsyth, Charles Johnson, and Roy Wheeler. Looks like Jack Wall's in the 83 cars back into the pits. Let's say, well, actually, we'll jump over to him and see what he does here. Maybe see if he does a fuel-only stop, as this might be a telltale for what we can maybe possibly see for that that 50 of David Leclerc. So let's watch this pit stop here real quick for Jack and see if he does maybe a fuel-only stop or if he's still going to take tires as well. Yeah, sure enough, looks like it's going to be fuel only for that 83. Never saw that car go up in the air. So that's going to get Jack back out and going. It looks like he's going to lose a lap for the moment to that 50 of David Leclerc. What's going to be critical for him right now is going to be this group behind him again with Jim Brooks and Bud Steele and them. It looks like he's going to actually fall behind them as well. So this is definitely going to be he's going to have to try to work his way back around this group here. And first, actually, is going to be first is just to be able to grab onto their toe here. I think he should be able to get to them. So these things pick up speed pretty quickly. Saying the draft is, again, as we talked about, super strong on these cars. So I think right now David's just going full fuel save. As I said, here comes David. He's gone 20 laps. He's going to hop into the pits as well. So that's going to put David into the pits here. We'll see what he's going to do here, which is going to put our race lead now into that group, as we mentioned again, with Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, and then actually Charles Johnson now up into that second position. You can see the 83 of Jack Walls is in that group now as well. So let's go ahead and see what David's going to do on this pit stop, if he's going to take tires and fuel or just fuels. He slides it into the pit box. Yep, car's up in the air, so he's going to be taking 4 tires and fuel. Probably just enough to make it to the end, plus maybe some green-white checker potential as well. So I believe David's going to be in pretty good position here to hang on to the lead lap. So he could stay out. If there's another yellow, he could definitely stay out here the rest of the way. As our leaders come around here, we're going to have 15 to go. As you see, that time at the line, I believe Charles Johnson just snuck the lead away from Bud Steele there at the line. But again, right now, you see those top 5 all in contention for the win right now. Say Charles Johnson, Bud Steele, Jim Brooks, Craig Forsyth, and Roy Wheeler. A little further back, still have a pretty good fight for some of these positions right here. So you see there you have Timothy Wright here in this battle with the 23 car as well. So this is trying to see where this is. I believe this is 6th on back. And actually, as I say that, some of our leaders are in the pit. So actually, here comes Charles Johnson and Roy Wheeler. Sorry, those two are in the pit. So actually, maybe these drivers can make it to the end. I honestly thought that everybody was good to go when they pitted at that 25 or so mark. But it looks like I'm definitely not familiar with the fuel window of these Indy cars. So, well, now we're going to see what these top 4, or sorry, the remainder of this top 3 now we're going to do. Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, and Craig Forsyth. Can they stretch it a little bit further, possibly? So this actually might be really good news for David Leclerc in that number 50. And as I say that, nope, I thought they were pitting there, but it's just to really protect that bottom side. So as you can see, here comes Bud Steele, Jim Brooks. They're coming to the start-finish line. So right now, side by side at entering turn 1. Again, a little bit of momentum for that 76 through 2. But say again, you can see he's going to drop in, sniff a little bit of draft, jump back to that top side, and see what he can do with this momentum. See if anybody's going to duck in the pits. Not yet. So say these drivers are still staying out here. So yeah, I'm a little curious now what the fuel and pit strategy is for some of these drivers are. If they're going to have to make another pit stop or not. Right now, David Leclerc is the furthest up of those that made that pit stop. He's got about... Actually, I got to wait for everything to cycle through. He's got a pretty good lead, though, over the 44 of Dwight Plesh. As well as, I believe that's Charles Johnson, and then Roy Wheeler in that next group for track position at this point. So these drivers keep faking me out as they go through turn 4. It looks like they're going to duck onto the pits, but they're still going here. So again, right now, still staying the same here. Jim Brooks, Bud Steele doing everything they can. I'm kind of thinking right now that 131 of Craig Forsyth, I think he might be in full fuel save mode. You see he drops back a spot there, letting that car go. I believe that was the 3 car. So I think Craig is maybe doing some strategy here, seeing if he can maybe either stretch it or stretch it as far as he can, where he needs just the smallest amount of fuel. Say Craig's pretty smart, pretty wily, so he might be thinking the long game right now instead of trying to go for it all right here, leading laps and such. So say it looks like leader's still staying out around this time. So I think what you might be seeing with that 131 is he's staying just close enough to hang on to the draft, but be able to still save fuel. Let's say as we get 10 to go this time around, you see that 83 of Jack Wall's trying to get that lap back here as well. He wants to get back onto the lead lap here. That way, should a caution come out, he won't have to worry about being the wave around. He can just get it the old-fashioned way. And saying you're going to the same thing here for that 3 car of Dustin Leclerc. Right now he's showing 2 laps down. He's going to want to get one of those 2 back. That way he can still be in contention as well should a yellow come out for him. Right now, Bud Steele's kind of snuck out a little bit. Now he's kind of had a little bit of clean sailing, if you can call it that. And again, you can see Craig here falling off the back a little bit. I still think he's in that draft, but I'm thinking that Craig is going to try to stretch it here on fuel. I think some of the drivers that pitted there were just pitted once they were in their window to make it to the end, like David Leclerc, Roy Wheeler, Charles Johnson. I think that was their strategy there. And then I think maybe you're going to see Bud Steele, Jim Brooks here. They're going to run it as far as they can, and then just probably maybe do a splash of fuel at the end. But I'm wondering if Craig here is. I think he might be just going full fuel save mode on that in that 131 car. So I wonder if we can try to take a listen on board here. Yeah, because to me it doesn't seem like he's even full throttle at all right now in that 131 car. However, as I say that, it's going to change everything right here because caution is out. So we're going to have to see what happened here under this yellow. I believe it may have involved the 7 car as he's in the pits there. So I'm going to say that's probably a pretty good example of for sure how that happened here. So let's go and take a look. Alright, so it's strategy time here, so we're going to see, looks like Bud Steele's going to pit here from the lead. Looks like Craig Forsyth's in as well. I was curious to see what he was going to do. However, again, we talked about the beneficiaries of some of these drivers that pitted there early. And say, I think, as I say that, something happened there to David Leclerc. I say he was going to be the biggest beneficiary of that. I'm not sure what happened to him here. So let's go back and see. I say, let's go forward here. So they say some of these drivers are checking up here. See 222 on the inside. Oh, it looks like he just got on the brakes. Maybe too much rear brake bias there. And then heavy contact for David, unfortunately. Again, he was going to be the beneficiary of this caution. So I'm not sure what happened, unfortunately, there. So I'd say, and then he gets, unfortunately, stuck in between the pit wall there. So now I believe it's going to switch things over, and the beneficiary is going to be the number 70 of Timothy Wright. And then behind him, well, again, we're going to let everything cycle through, but I believe it's going to be Timothy Wright, Michael Spell, Charles Johnson, and Roy Wheeler. They're definitely going to be the beneficiaries of this. So, yeah, so let's say we're going to right now we have 6 to go. Going to restart with probably 3 or 4 to go. And there's going to be a lot of differing tire and fuel strategy here because right now Timothy in the 70, Michael in the 88, they've gone about 18, 19 laps on this run. Charles Johnson, Roy Wheeler, they've done about 9. And then from it's gonna be Bud Steele on back. So let me find that 6 car here. It's like from Bud Steele on back, all of these drivers are gonna be pretty much all on fresh tires here. So definitely gonna change things up a little bit on the outcome of this race here. And unfortunately, under that last yellow, it looks like the 10 of Robert Richards and the 7 of David Camara have retired. Showing 12 cars on the lead lap. Looks like Jack Walls got the wave around. And so that's going to see. I think we actually might have a few cars also on the tail end of the lead. Actually, I'm sorry. Jack Walls is the tail end of the lead lap, I believe. Or I don't want to give you bad info here. Let me get back up to our race leader. We can find out who's in front of him here. That was the that was the 3 car of Dustin Leclerc. That's going to move Dustin now to be just 1 lap down instead of 2 down. So he'll be now in contention should another caution come out to be able to get back on that lead lap here and battle for the lead and for the win. All right, so things are getting interesting now, to say the least. So, again, our top 2, Timothy Wright, Michael Spell, they pitted about 20 laps ago. 3rd and 4th, Charles Johnson and Roy Wheeler, they pitted about 10 laps ago. And then from Bud Steele through Jack Walls, which is 5th through 12th, they all pitted under this most recent caution. So, going to definitely be some different tires. Obviously different fuel amounts in the cars as well. I'm sure some of these drivers are probably going to try to keep their cars as light as possible, but maybe have just enough for green-white checker potential finishes. Here we have up to 3 attempts, and however, on the 3rd attempt, if they have a caution before the white flag comes out, that will end the race. So basically, if the white flag comes out and then there's an incident, the drivers are going to have to race back to the line to see how and that's how the results will shake out here. So that's going to put it into the hands of Timothy Wright, Michael Spell behind him, Charles Johnson, Roy Wheeler, Bud Steele. That is our top 5. So you're going to be waiting for that green flag to fly, and then I think you're going to see a lot of aggression from these drivers trying to take advantage of those fresher tires, and of course try to take advantage of that track position. But we know how big that draft is. So Timothy Wright takes the green. Here comes Michael Spell right behind him. And again, right away you can see Bud Steele tries to get to the inside of Roy Wheeler, doesn't quite get there. But saying this is going to be where you got to try to make this momentum happen. You see right away Charles Johnson going to jump to that inside, try to use the draft here. Grab to the back of that 70 car. Oh, you see caught a little bit of the right front, or right rear, I should say. Looks like Timothy able to hang on to it somehow. We stay green, so that's going to actually now have the race lead go to Charles Johnson. He may have a little bit of front damage on that wing, though. So we're going to see now, so you see the front 4 all bundled together here. So you got Jim Brooks there, Roy Wheeler, Charles Johnson right now looks like, and you see Bud Steele trying to sneak through on the inside. Bud and Charles make contact, big contact here. Charles goes flying through. A lot of damage for him. I'm sure you're going to see Bud Steele already in the pits there. So we're going to let everything cycle through and try to figure out who had the lead there. I think it might be either Michael Spell or Jim Brooks when that caution came out. However, let's go back and see what happened here. And hopefully this won't freeze up on me. There we go. All right. So we'll start with the 28 and the 6 here as they go through the front stretch. So I think the 6 probably just saw a gap he was trying to go for. What we can do is actually we'll watch from the roll bar here. You can see everybody's just trying to find the spot to go. And yeah, just a slight contact between the 2 of them. And unfortunately, I'd say from there, just nothing they can do. I say Bud actually winds up in the pit lane. So I say he got far enough into the pits, I think, where it winds up resetting him. So that's what happened to Bud there. And then, of course, Charles gets able to get back on track. It looks like actually able to get driving as well. So say Charles is going to try to limp this thing back to the pits and be able to get that fast repair taken care of. So Looks like actually the race leader is going to be shown as Michael Spell. However, you can see that right front wing's got a little bit of damage on that. Sorry, the left front wing, the end plate's got a little bit of damage, so that's definitely not going to help the handling of that car. And he also has some of the most laps on his tires as well. So this is going to put us into that first attempt of the up to 3 green-white checkers. So we're going to have to wait and see how that comes into play. And in the finish of this race, so say the 70, unfortunately, as well. Timothy Wright looks like he's going to try to get that damage repaired on that number 70 machine. So he had that contact with the 28 as well. So he's going to try to limp this thing back to the pits here. So I don't think you're going to see Michael Spell pit here. I mean, he's going to need to try to stay out, I feel like, to have a chance at it. And we need to see who our lucky dog will wind up being. So right now it's going to be between the 11, the 3, and the 50. And judging by the track position, so you see the 11 right there, say a 3 right behind him, and then you got the 50 just a little further back there. So I believe we're going to see Gary Corley in that 11 car get back onto the lead lap. And actually, as I say that, the 88 of Michael Spell is in the pits. So that's actually going to now hand the lead over to that 76 of Jim Brooks. However, again, I don't know if leading is going to be where you want to be at this point in the race. I think the some of the drivers that are going to be in a pretty good position here are going to be Roy Wheeler, Craig Forsyth, because we talked about how big the draft is again here at Indy. So let's go ahead and take a look at that number 11 car. See if he's going to get that wave around or not. Actually, it looks like he may have had an incident or something, because I'm actually seeing here comes the 3 car. Dustin Leclerc, he was going, now he's slowing down again, so maybe he thought he was and wasn't the lucky dog. I'm waiting to see what's being called here on this end. But yeah, so let's wait and see if they still don't see anybody else going. So trying to kind of keep an eye on things. Looks like now Dustin's going to start rolling into it a little bit. So I think actually that 3 car does wind up being the lucky dog here. So yeah, so once again, we'll get things going again on that 1 to go. And we'll see what these drivers are able to do on the first attempt of a green-white checkered. Alright, so we are on the 1 to go here. So yeah, so say we're going to see how everything shakes out. So again, right now, pretty much the top 8 or so are all on the same same tire strategy, except for Roy Wheeler's got about 7 to 8 laps more on his tires. But say with I think a quick shot like this at the end, I think that's not going to be pretty critical. Draft is going to be the most important thing for him to try to stay on the back of that 76 car, get that momentum. And we've seen where you can grab the draft coming off of 4 and then be able to sneak that lead at the line coming to the checkered. So we'll have to see if that comes into play this with this finish tonight. Again, this is going to be attempt number 1 of up to 3 of a green-white checkered finish. So if they get to the white flag, that will, let's say if an incident occurs, the drivers will have to race back. However, if the caution comes out before they get to the white flag, we have 2 more attempts at it. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop on board with our second place driver, Roy Wheeler. We're going to see what he's able to do on this restart behind our race leader, Jim Brooks. Say pace car pulls off, going to be waiting for that green flag to fly, and they'll drop a gear and see what they're able to do here. So again, right behind Roy is that 131 of Craig Forsyth as they are underway. So again, I think you're going to see a little bit of protection again from some of these drivers, especially of course leader. I mean, at this point you have to protect the bottom. There's really nothing you can do. So we'll see, as you see, we'll say Roy's going to try to get right to the outside of him and then probably try to steal some draft and then make that run to the top. Jim's going to have to protect that bottom side, so we'll see now what's Craig Forsyth going to do in that 131 car. He's going to go for the middle. Say, unfortunately, that 98 car left a little bit too much room probably as they go 3 wide through turn 3, able to hang on to it through 3. Oh, close contact between the 98 and 131. Looks like they got away with it, though. Now Roy's going to see if he could squeeze the gap. Couldn't find the room that he needed there. So now coming to the white, see if they can get to the line. They do. Craig Forsyth now actually able to clear the 76. That's going to put Craig now into the lead here. So now it's going to be the battle on the top side between the 98 of Roy Wheeler and also the 76 of Jim Brooks, and see who is able to make something happen. You see the 76 looks like he's got a bit of a push there. That's just going to open the door for the 14 of James Ledford. So Roy Wheeler here is going to jump to the to that side of the 98 car. Oh, it gets a little bit too high there. It's going to hurt the momentum. That's going to open the door now, I believe, for James Ledford. We'll see if he's able to hold on to the draft of this 131 as they come through 3 and 4. He's going to grab that toe here. He's going to have to jump out, and we're going to see it's going to be a drag race to the line. At the line, let's see who's going to get it. Oh, it was so close I couldn't tell at the line. I believe Craig Forsyth may have got that, and it looks like he did by 4 thousandths of a second. Our race winner is going to be that 131 of Craig Forsyth. James Ledford second, Roy Wheeler third, and Jim Brooks is going to bring it home in the 4th position there. So let's go back and look at that finish there, because I mean that's as close as you can get. All right, so we're going to go back a little further here. So again, I say that was exactly what James Ledford needed to do there. Let's actually let me speed up just a little bit here. So you can see James grabbed the draft as long as he could, had to hop out here. And so then as they start coming to the line, so we're going to slow it down. And you're going to see just how close 4 thousandths of a second is as best I can. But I mean, yeah, that's as close as you can ask for here. So let me find a better angle of this, of course. There's a good angle we should be using here. So yeah, just by about a nose cone there. Craig Forsyth able to hold up James Ledford for the win. Roy Wheeler is going to bring it home in 3rd, but man, I mean that's about all you can get there for these drivers here for the finish here. So you can see there at the line. So that's going to give our race win to that 131 of Craig Forsyth. So we'll have to go ahead and pull up some of our top 3 finishers here, though. Definitely want to have a chat with them. So we're going to start with the number 98, though, of Roy Wheeler here. So let's go ahead and pull up his All right, so we're going to start off with our 3rd place finisher here, Roy Wheeler, in that number 98 car. Put yourself in a really good potential there for having a shot the lead there. So it looks like just maybe washed up a little bit too much on you. Was it just kind of those slightly older tires just didn't have the grip you needed there at the end?
I'm going to have to blame that more on nerve than anything.
So I mean, you still gave it all you could. There was a lot of fun to watch there with you guys battling it out at the end. So you obviously had a really good view with Craig and James there at the finish line. But I mean, so you guys had a really good long run there at the in the middle point of the race, and say you and I say I think it was you and I don't know if I want to say it was Michael that had the same pit strategy pitting together there. Actually, no, I think it was Charles. I want to say, and then some of the drivers stayed longer out, and so there was definitely a big mix of tires and fuel strategy there, and of course, draft is so important here at Indy. But I mean, yeah, say was there anything that stood out for you for what you needed to do for today's race and try to get that run to the end?
No, I was hoping it stayed green the entire time. It was Charles and I, and we were just kind of slingshotting back and forth there, and hoping everybody else would have to pit, run out of fuel, something. So and then that late caution came out, but I think we were still good on tires because I think some of the other guys were saying they didn't take tires. So it's just hoping stay out of trouble and see where we finish.
Well, I mean, you were able to do that as they brought it home in third. Say definitely some pretty wild racing there earlier on. I say I think you actually kept your car pretty clean throughout the race. So I'd say definitely hats off to you on that one. So obviously this is kind of if you will shake the rust off before season 5 begins next week. So say are you feeling good going into season 5 here?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Still real new to these cars, but I think running with some of the other guys is helping. I kind of learn what they do, and it helps a lot. So yeah, feeling good. Should be a fun season. Looking forward to it.
I'll say before I give you a chance for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give us, I want to give one to you for all the awesome stuff you've been doing. I say the intro videos and everything. It's been a lot of fun to be able to be a part of all that. So yeah, I want to thank you for everything you've done on that one. And yeah, say looking forward to working with you more as the season goes on in future seasons. But however, now I say I'm going to give the mic to you. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for getting that third place run tonight?
Oh, just man, it's great to be a part of this league. Doing everything I can to help out, and thanks to you for putting on the TV or the broadcast. Looking forward to watching it after this, see how it worked out at the end, and it's like I said, looking forward to the season, and thanks to everybody.
I'll say again, congrats on that third place finish. Really good run for you. I'll say it was an exciting finish for sure as well, and I say look forward to seeing you as the season 5 unfolds here shortly.
All right, thanks.
As our third place finisher there, Roy Wheeler there in that number 98 car. Say coming home just one spot behind him there, or one spot in front of him, I should say, just coming home 4 thousandths of a second short is what I was meaning to say, is that number 14 of James Ledford. We're going to pull him up here as well. So I'll say so close. I'll say you did everything you should have there, James. Let's say you just needed a little bit more momentum, or maybe to have that yard of bricks be maybe like, let's say, I don't know, 50 feet further down the straightaway. But I mean, man, that's a awesome charge you had there at the end there to try to get that win.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be racing for the win there at the end, but somehow I was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're putting yourself in perfect position there as they look like you're kind of taking opportunities for some drivers, maybe overdriving the turns a little bit, things like that. As saying you were putting your car in perfect position there, and like I said, you just grabbed the draft as I'm sure as far as you could there until you had to hop out to try to make that run to the line. So yeah, I mean, I honestly on my side I don't really see anything different you could have done, but maybe from the driver's seat, was there anything different that you saw that like looking back and now it's like if I had done this, or was that pretty much your best chance that you had there?
No, I don't think there was anything else I could have done different. I was just taking the wherever I could make a move, I was making the move to pass people.
No, so you did it well there, and say again, I think it was if I saw it right, it was 4 thousandths of a second short. So I mean, that's not, you can't really even, I don't think you can blink that fast. So awesome job for you tonight. Again, I say I'm sure same thing, kind of getting warmed up, ready for season 5 here for yourself as well. So I say before I let you go, any thanks and chats you'd like to give for getting that run this evening?
Just Area 51 for putting on the race.
All right, well, say congrats on the run. Say look forward to seeing you this season, and hopefully get some more finishes like that as the season unfolds. So congrats again, James.
All right, good talking to you.
All right, that's our second place finisher there. James Ledford again, 4 thousandths of a second short. However, say this guy, Craig Forsyth, able to pull off the win in that 131 car. I'll say we'll follow the lap with him. So I'm going to guess he may have done some celebration at the start-finish line here. So, however, we'll pull Craig in here for the interview here, pulling off the win this evening. I say definitely a good way to kind of get things ready for Season 5. Really exciting finish there. I say, did you feel like you're maybe a sitting duck, though, with as big as the draft was for these guys, or were you feeling pretty confident once you came off of 4 there?
I was not sure coming off 4. I mean, I tried the draft move. I think at lap 20 or 21, I tried it just to see how the draft was going to work. So, that was amazing. That was a great race. Guys, that was a good race.
Yeah, it was a blast to watch. And I was mentioning earlier too, is like there's definitely some new faces, the names and stuff like that. So like you're gonna of course kind of learn as things go how other people drive and all that. There's kind of the growing pains and such, if you will. But so you guys had a really good long green run there in the midpoint of the race, and then of course that last dash to the end there, some really hard but clean racing between the leaders there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch and to be able to broadcast. So. But yeah, I mean, was there anything that's really stood out to you in the race at all this evening?
There was a lot of luck. I mean, there were a couple different incidents that I came a hair's close to getting involved in. So staying on the track and not getting caught up in those was really good.
Well, I mean, I know it's not official Season 5. I'm sure it's good to get that win tonight, and again get ready for Season 5 here coming up. So, so are you ready to roll? Say, is this kind of one of those things to kind of pump you up a little bit to say, all right, let's do this?
Oh, I love Indy. This is a great track. So yeah, this has got me ready for the start of the season. That's for sure.
So congrats on the win. Say, before I let you go, I definitely want to give you an opportunity, any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for pulling off that win this evening. And then of course going into Season 5 with these Indy cars here.
Yeah, I got to thank my wife for letting me do this, but I got to thank the boys. I mean, that was a good race tonight. All the guys in there, we had a good time, and Area 51's a good league to get involved in. Get involved in it because the new season's starting next week.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you there. So yeah, congrats on the win, Craig. So I look forward to definitely having more interviews with you there, and say I'm sure we'll see you in contention for that championship and at least this series, and I'm sure other ones as well. So congrats again, enjoy it, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Thanks. You guys have a good night.
All right, so that's our race winner, that number 131 of Craig Forsyth. So however, we want to definitely pull up our finishing results here. So we're going to see our top 10 here. I was hoping it was going to show the interval. Let me see if I can find a way to pull that up. As we mentioned, definitely some things we have to hash out, figure out how to make all that work correctly. However, race winner though, Craig Forsyth, James Ledford in second, Roy Wheeler third, Jim Brooks winds up finishing in the fourth position, Michael Spell fifth, Jack Walls sixth, Eric Laurie in seventh, Timothy Wright eighth, Dwight Plesh in ninth, and then Christopher Kresge in the 10th position. So I'm going to poke around here just to look at a couple things, see if there's any way I can get the actual finishing results here. Again, some stuff that we're trying to learn as the season goes, of course, and with this new setup, try to kind of shake off some of the little hiccups and stuff from that. However, 11th through 20th, you see Dustin Leclerc, David Leclerc. David, of course, unfortunately, was in probably one of the prime positions to pull off that win. Just unfortunately had that issue. I think checking him under yellow, probably a little bit too much rear brake on that. Unfortunately, put him out of contention. Gary Corley, Charles Johnson, Jared Konzinski rounds out the finishers of the race this evening. Definitely some attrition in this one. So you can see Bud Steele's in there, David Camara, Definitely some fast drivers that were up front just didn't have the nights they were looking for. I say we go the 21st through 30th. Say some of these drivers I don't believe took the green or grid, especially myself. Again, I was not in this race. Rookie mistake forgetting to join as a spectator, not as a driver. So yeah, I was saying so. Yeah, so say kind of again shake some of the rust off, get some of the cobwebs out. And I say, and actually, one thing I did not mention during this whole thing, I say apologize to the interviewees that I just had a chance to chat with. So congrats to Craig Forsyth winning the $40 for winning the race this evening. Say second place James Ledford will win $20, and then third place Roy Wheeler winds up winning $10. Saying the other thing we have to mention too is James Ledford started 23rd to finish second, and then Roy Wheeler started 28th to finish third. Jim Brooks 27th to 4th, so really good runs for those drivers to get back up front. Craig Forsyth started second, finished first. So it's kind of not surprised to see that he's done that a lot in the Indy series. He was one of those ones that was definitely one to be more often than not in this series. So say congrats to those drivers again on their runs, and of course on the, being those top three. And yeah, so say looking forward to getting season 5 going next week. I will be back with you all on Thursday. Let's say another attempt to get everything up and running here, make sure everything's working well. See if we can shake out any of the little bugs and stuff, trying to learn as I go. And then yeah, I'll say join you on Thursday. Then we're going to get things again started on Tuesday evening with the Indy Series for season 5. If you're interested in joining the league, definitely check them out at area51iracing.com. Let's say got, I believe, 4 nights that will be broadcast here on Green White Checker TV, and they also will have a non-broadcasted Friday night series as well. So definitely, if you're interested in that, check it out as well. So yeah, until Thursday, have a good evening. Stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And yeah, until Thursday, have a good evening, and talk to you soon. Have a good night.